Today we've got the Roll and Battle Kong, a semi-new Godzilla Kong the New Empire toy. This, don't know when it's ever gonna come to Canada. I had to go order this from an American supplier. It don't matter, it's here. It's just a little bit late compared to many other YouTubers who may have reviewed this toy already. That being said, let's dive into this because I'm surprised this thing isn't a 13-inch. This thing is an 11-inch. It's the same size as the Mega figures. So there will be a good candidate to compare this to. But before we do any of that, we must take this out of the box. But before we do that, we gotta look at the box itself. So let's look at the box. We have a render of Goji and Kong right there. Roll and Battle Kong. And then we have all the other logos at the bottom. What's cool about this one is there is a QR code right here, which you can try scanning on your screen right now. I'm gonna hold it up, hold your phone to your screen and scan this thing because you can see this toy in action when you scan this QR code. So give that a try. I haven't tried it yet, but I assume it looks pretty cool. Then of course, movie logo up there, Monsterverse logo up there. Here's this side, here's this side, here's the bottom, which you can also scan this QR code to see the other toys that Playmates has offered in their Godzilla x Kong line. And we have the other giant figures, as you can see, adding to what I said earlier that this toy falls in the giant figure class, the 11-inch class. So obviously I reviewed all of these guys already, so do check those reviews out after this one. Then we have movie logo, barcode, and other stuff here. And then finally, here's the back with the glam shot of the Roll and Battle Kong here, showing you that he's got a rolling feature for punching action. Very nice. And we can battle the enemies with Kong's mighty punch. Hell yeah. That is the box. Let's get this guy out. Out of the box. This was actually tied particularly tight. The strings that this thing was attached on, yeah, they were not kidding with the knots. It's important because this one has an actual feature with its arm, so the last thing you want is to get this toy and the arm feature is broken. So it's good that they tie it tight enough with the string. So this is the same size as the giant figures. This falls in the 11-inch class. Here's a giant Kong. This Roll and Battle Kong seems to have extra height, but I think that's due to the wheels at the bottom. So the wheels are kind of like high heels for a Kong here. It's giving him the extra height. But that's pretty much it. It's the same size, which makes sense. However, the playability of this Roll and Battle Kong is shared with the Mega Kong, aka the 13-inch Kong, as some people like to call it with its technical term. This Roll and Battle Kong is essentially a hybrid, a blend of the playability you get from the Mega Kong and the just overall size of the Giant Kong. However, this is the same price as Giant Kong if we consider retail. Not the price I paid for to get this, because I definitely paid more than retail. But if we look at this from retail, let's say you get this from a Walmart or a Target, that should be the same price as our Giant Kong here. So, value-wise, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You would want to spend the same amount of money on a toy with an actual play feature, right? Well, not really that easy to define. Well, because this Roll and Battle Kong has a major sick play feature. However, that came at the cost of articulation, which is something the Giant Kong was able to keep. Now, we look at our Mega Kong here. Bigger size, bigger budget means more playability and detailed design. So, this still has its play feature, which of course the Kong is able to throw the punches, but it still has joints here, articulation points. So there's still articulation here. So obviously you get the best of both worlds with the 13-inch Kong here. So What's the biggest difference? Price. Well, obviously, this is a little bit more expensive. You're looking at about 60 Canadian dollars for a retail price of this Mega Kong here. Obviously, these ones, if this was stocked in Canada, you'd be looking at this for about 40 Canadian dollars. So there's a $20 difference. The decision is honestly up to you as the buyer, because I think all three of these Kongs have their own benefits. I didn't expect this Kong to even exist, but now it's here, it exists. So the question is down to, what do you want out of your Kong toy? You'll notice that the Beast Glove is much lighter for our Roll and Battle Kong here. If you look at the colors of the Beast Glove, it's much darker for the Mega guy. It's a similar lighter tone for the giant one here, but for the Roll and Battle one here, it's way lighter. You can kind of tell the difference pretty well. So that's my comparison of the three Kongs, the three amigos. Okay, let's shift our focus back to just this Kong. Obviously, this whole review is about this Kong anyway, so let's review this thing. Apart from the Beast Glove, which, as I just mentioned, is much lighter, although it does have the exact same prints of letters and numbers, I believe. I don't think any of that has shifted. What about the overall look of Kong himself? I think the color is much lighter compared to the other two, as you saw. This one has like a semi-light gray and then an even lighter gray in the middle here. Now obviously you can see the chest marks up here, so little attention to detail. And the most noticeable difference will probably fall upon the face here. As you saw from the other two, they each have their own roaring like faces, but this Kong here, he's got like a more snarly face. But I guess it's good to have a tamer Kong, but he's just snarling. That's about it. I mean, cool, you want him to be battle ready. It will be kind of weird if you got a smiling face, but this is not bad. I just think the expression itself is a little off, but the eyes are pretty detailed. I like the pupils here. This actually is more detailed. You have this glossiness that comes with most of these bigger Playmates toys, but obviously because they're much cheaper and they classify more as toys rather than figures, well, screw holes. I mean, that's unavoidable. We're kind of used to that at this point. Obviously, I've always said this, even though we are pretty much used to it, it would still be nice to see if they can find a way to cover these up so it doesn't look like you're doing acupuncture on Kong here. Why is there an even worse screw hole here? This one just looks so off. Literally looks like he punctured his feet with something there. That, I don't know. I don't dig it. But obviously, the back side is the side where not much people would see. I get it. You can just display them on the front, you know, happy days. But it would still be nice if the screw holes were covered. We gotta talk about the articulation, because I did mention when comparing this with the other Kongs that this main play feature sacrificed a lot of the articulation, and that comes at the legs. As you can see, the legs is rock solid. Not a single joint is present here on these legs, and it will not articulate, which is necessary because obviously these legs need to be stiff in order to have the gears inside installed, because of course at the bottom of the feet you can see the wheels. The main feature of this Kong is for him to be punching while moving, so you need the wheels to propel him forward. So this wheel here is, I believe this wheel is actually what triggers the rotation on his main body, and then these wheels are just there to help guide it. So it's a more fluid, smooth motion as you push him forward. So interesting. I haven't had a toy like this in like so long, not since when I was like a child. It's such a basic design, but it just works so well, and it's so entertaining to play with a toy like that can move on its own. But it does have other bits of articulation. I mean, for starters, I'm just rotating the toy and the waist is already kind of given in, but that's because there's actually a spring inside. So there's a little bit of spring resistance sometimes, so when you display it, you should probably like stand him up and then like adjust the waist a little bit, unless you want him to twist his waist. But you want to keep him straight like this. You're gonna do some manual adjusting because this is pretty loose. It's loose, but it has the spring inside, so it has that resistance. But in terms of other articulation, on his other arm here, you have your standard joint articulation. I mean, on the shoulder, that goes up and down, that opens in and out. I mean, that's pretty standard. You can, of course, straighten out the elbow like this, if you want a straight arm, or bend it like this. And of course, with the wrist, it is on a ball socket. Actually, yeah, it is on a ball socket, so it is very stiff though, so you just rotate it like this. And I do think if you do have the battle axe from another Giant Kong, you could stick it in here. I'm pretty sure there is enough space in this hand for him to put on the Beast Glove. As for this arm, because obviously this is where the Beast Glove is, this is where the main punching feature is, there is a little bit of articulation, but of course, it's still limited. So you have the shoulder that can move up and down, forward and back, yes, but as you can see, as soon as I turn it back, you hear that ratchet snap because that is the gear inside for this play feature. So you want him to get in that punching feature, I suggest you move his arm like this so he can actually strike a punch like that. Now, I don't think, oh, you can, but it's very stiff. There you go. See, you can still move the elbow for the Beast Glove side, but it is very stiff, and of course, no articulation on the hand. I mean, that's to be given, that is molded straight in. And then finally, you have the articulation on the head, just on a ball socket. He can move his head like this. He can just look side to side, and that's pretty much it. So the articulation, you just miss out on the legs, but that's okay because obviously the legs are supporting the main play feature of this thing, which is, as the name suggests, to roll in battle. Now, this does not do a somersault as I, for some reason, thought it would do, but the idea is with the wheels at the bottom, you push the toy on a flat surface and boom. Like that. I will say this is a fun gimmick feature, but the motion he's doing makes it more look like he's waddling through quicksand instead of actually like punching, but you can fix that. Just move the elbow up, make it look like he's actually about to strike a punch, and you just do that. There you go. And that's the springs and the gears working inside. It's such a straightforward design, but it's so gimmicky. But it works brilliantly as a children's toy. A child will have a blast playing with this. All you do is push the toy itself. You don't even need to hit a button or anything. You just push the figure forward, and he is swinging his punches. It's very gimmicky, of course. This is just another way for Playmates to roll out a new Kong toy to earn that extra few bucks. I mean, good on them. You want to maximize your profits, so I would recommend this one over the regular Giant Kong. Why? Because, well, the regular Giant Kong just has articulation, which is great, but if you're buying this for your kid or a child, you know, they're gonna want to play with this thing. They ain't just gonna put this on a shelf and look at it. They're gonna play with this. So why not use the money to get a toy that actually functions like a toy? Something to be played with. And this offers a great play feature. But I will think if you are more on the collector side and you just want to collect this, yeah, I guess you can, but I don't think you're missing out much if you don't buy this toy. You can just get the regular Giant Kong, or hell, the Mega Kong, because those two are very accessible in Canada. We have those right now, so those aren't difficult to get. But this one is a bit more of a challenge. US obviously has it easier, not so much up here in Canada, so I wouldn't say go out of your way to get it. Don't do what I did. Don't go out of your way to buy this. If you see this in the stores, yeah, by all means pick it up. For retail, 40 bucks for this? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense in this economy. So out of 10, I will give it a solid 8 out of 10. The design itself, pretty solid. I dig it. Those are my thoughts on the Roll and Battle Kong. Check out the reviews for Mega Kong or Giant Kong if you haven't. As for now, give this video a like and of course, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.